Hello, welcome to the Problematic Sticker Anime Podcast. A podcast about anime that's possibly problematic. We're on a good run recently. We haven't had too many horrible things.
I would say we got a lot of stickers in Unchained this week.
Yeah, and probably in between as well. We probably could have,
and before.
Yeah. And after.
Yeah. During. Yes, so as ever, the weekly animes of choice, which are, of course, My Hero Academia and so, and what's our anime of the week? Nothing in between this week, so it's back to the original format of it. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I'm sure we'll find some shit in the middle to talk about because we always do that. It seems no matter what podcast it is, that's fine. Joining me on this journey, this odyssey of anime, is of course Ben Shillabeer-hall.
Way, I am here, and I can't wait to talk about animes, especially this week's anime because it was the best.
Then you're on the right podcast to talk about this week's animes. That's for sure. We're also, of course, joined by the smooth criminal himself, Mr. Klauss Knightbringer.
Wait, criminal?
Yeah.
It's a Michael Jackson song, man. Come on.
I know. Like, what did I do this week? Or what did you hear? I can tell you it's not true.
I see.
You killed a defenseless beard. And they finally got enough evidence to put you down.
What, you mean the fact that I live streamed it wasn't enough?
That's enough.
It's never enough, man. It's never enough.
Glad to be back.
People want more blood.
What?
Are you not entertained?
Blood for the blood god!
So that slightly disturbing character is, of course, Bagdasarov.
Yes, it is.
Slightly disturbing.
Slightly disturbing? I'm not disturbing. I say it how it is.
I did say slightly, and that could
you
go.
guys just can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the cheese.
You're all Tom Cruise, and
ew, I would never.
You take that back.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is awful. You don't really like us, then, do you?
Tom Cruise is a great actor.
Thank you for being on the podcast for a while, Garri. But things change.
Oh my god! Damn.
Click.
I think Chris will agree with me on that. So
Garri, you are the Jack Nicholson to my Tom Cruise.
Well, you are bottom, so.
I don't understand.
If you can't handle the truth.
He's talking about A Few Good Men.
There it is. I haven't seen that movie.
I think Gary's more like
missing out on one of the most iconic movies.
No, you're not.
Damn.
Savage.
I ask myself every day as I sit here, why am I on this podcast?
For that, basically.
Because you're bored.
I don't know about that.
Because we love you a long time.
You love me. Yeah, okay.
So, other people. Chris, you're here.
I am indeed here.
Splendid. So, again, that's 2 intros in a row. I've given real hype build up. Sorry. Blame Garri on this occasion.
Wow!
I love your wow.
Me too, dude. I live for it. Like, if I just walked in and said wow, I probably one of him because I just want that. Wow. I just want the wow. I love how he says it.
Wow.
Well, it would just be like a sitcom character that just walks in on situations and goes, wow. T-shirts, the lot. Brilliant.
Buy a merch.
Buy merch.
Buy a merch.
I love that shampoo brand.
We should just have caps that, with like the old Batman style, like speech bubble of wow.
Also joining us is our very own juicy cherry tomato, Tim Nunes.
I get to be a cherry tomato. Yes.
No, a tomato.
Oh, you say? Oh, let's call the whole thing off then.
Don't you mean a cherry tomato? What it was in South Park? No, Simpsons.
Tobacco.
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 No, it's the Simpsons one, not South Park. The mix
That's
of
one of the-
tomatoes and tobacco.
Yeah, that's one of the few Simpsons references I know.
Right, so that's everyone introduced, apart from me. Yeah, well, how do you do? And now we go on to the section. We go on to the section where we talk about stuff that I haven't watched. So, as ever, I hand over to the smoothest man in the room. It is, of course, Klauss, and he will talk about My Hero Academia with other people who have watched.
Oh, come on! We were just discussing this before the podcast. I was going to talk about the Dragon Ball game before we start this stuff.
Well, you should do what everyone else does and just jump in.
What do you mean?
I want to talk about the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game. Now, I gave it a little bit of a talk when it first came out, but I decided to give it a few months for it to find its feet. And I thought, you know what, now that it's had its time to sort of settle in a bit, I'd like to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of what it's done. Basically, Dragon Ball Legends is a game you can get free to play on both Android and iPhones. And it's a fighting game. It literally is just a fighting game that you can play online with teams of 3, though you can bring in a squad of 6. So basically, you're 6 versus 6 online, but you can only pick 3 characters to fight as. So as there's different elemental types, you can, like Pokemon in a way, or any type of gacha game, you're able to, say, bring one of each type, so that way you can try and counter your opponent's team online, or you can bring more of the same type and try and balance like a damage increase in stats based on their abilities. I'm not going to go into too depth because this isn't a Dragon Ball anime podcast anymore, but the game is definitely a lot of fun. Its pros are the fact that it's very free to play friendly, with events that are going on currently where you can get several thousand stones to get loads of multi-summons, and you're also guaranteed rare units, at least 6 rare units guaranteed from doing the missions. You got about 2 weeks to do those. And yeah, it's definitely. But the cons are though, it takes forever to level up characters, and the stamina doesn't refresh fast. I think it takes like 7 hours for the stamina to refresh, and you can use it in about 2 seconds, really. Because if you do the XP,
sound familiar?
No, I'm literally, you can do the XP mission and you've done it. You can do it twice and you run out of stamina.
And I'm spent.
Yeah, and I'm spent. So yeah, the stamina system seems to be worked in my opinion. You need to either have the stamina increase when you rank up, or have it refresh every time you rank up. So
maybe they need to give you a little blue pill. Because
right now you get some stamina when you level up, but you only get like 2 points. Well, 3 points I think it is. So it would be nice if they just refilled the stamina bar, like in Dokkan Battle. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it right now. Thank you.
Fantastic, and I apologise for forgetting, but caught up in the moment, as you will.
I think he was trying to just bypass it, but
I think you forgot to mention the best part about that game, Ben.
The card art is beautiful.
The card art is incredible looking.
Yeah, and what's unique about the card art is though, each card art actually has unique animations, and I'm not just talking about the fact you just tab the card, and then each one has like different types of motions you got to do to activate the animation. Like I think the Spirit Bomb Goku is you swirl in a circle with your finger, and it makes the Spirit Bomb grow. I know that the Android 18, if you tap the picture of the androids in the background, it'll actually switch from the androids to Android 18 kissing Krillin in the background.
Oh,
yeah. So all the little touches they did like that makes the card art, even the already amazing card art, sort of more alive.
Is there a card where we don't see Goku kissing Chi-Chi ever in his life?
It's called the anime.
Like every card.
Yeah.
They
we already got
should make a card where it's like super awkward and he doesn't know what's happening.
We already got a card out where Krillin's getting killed by Frieza, so
perfect.
Though I must admit, I love this because they added new units with this new update, and I love the fact that they've actually added a synergy with the old Goku. Because there used to be an old Goku card where if you had a Krillin in your team and he died, Goku got a healing buff, got a damage buff. But now they've added a Krillin card where if there's a Goku in your team, Krillin heals himself more. So yeah, I like that.
So is that all?
I think that's everything. Unless anyone got any questions? I know Tim's been playing it a little bit recently,
I just know I pulled a Krillin.
and I'm jealous.
I don't know what that means.
Your Krillin pulled you off.
You krilled it.
Yeah. I'm Krillin it.
Hashtag Krillin it.
Yeah. So yeah, reversing back about 5 minutes ago to Klauss and My Hero Academia.
All right, my hero this week. This week's episode was called Class 1A. They basically were focusing on the UA class as they were progressing through their test for their preliminary hero licenses. And it starts off with Todoroki is still facing off against the squad from Seijin High School. All the Sentai posing rangers.
Tokyo Sentai.
The Sentai ninjas.
Sentai.
Yeah, that's basically what they are. And we get a nice, interesting fight scene with them. They actually have been watching what Todoroki's quirks and powers have been, and they've actually been accounting for him using his fire attacks now as well, because they had a few users who will neutralize that portion with water quirks, and then they will try and attack him with physical attacks to break through the ice's defenses. So Todoroki is got his hands full with these 10 guys. But he starts thinking, and it's like, he has to change his game plan a little bit. And so he ends up drawing them in to a trap, basically. What did you think of this scene, Ben?
I actually really liked it. It showed off how intelligent he is, and showed off the practice of his new
kind of
skills.
Ruthless.
Oh,
really, because what he ended up doing was basically the area he was in was a kind of an industrial area with a bunch of like gas pipes and tanks.
Yeah. And
he ended up drawing them in, and he caused an explosion with a gas tank. One of those huge, million-gallon gas tanks, and ended up freezing them all in place, from the condensation of from the explosion, and then he took them out.
Yeah. Game
over.
Though, don't know if he took them all out, but...
No, he probably did.
Probably. But yeah, it was using his brain. I like when they do that. When they use the environment to win, rather than just trying to rely on their own powers.
Though I'm hoping that he just realized he could do that because it was just a test environment, and hoping he wouldn't do something like that, if it came down to it in real life, in a real situation.
Oh yeah.
Because like I said, it seemed pretty like I said, it was pretty ruthless in how he dealt with those guys.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I think that's a little bit of his father coming through him, as much as he hates to admit it, because that really seems like a tactic that Endeavor would use.
Yeah.
Because he's a ruthless guy himself, so I think that's why he's not afraid to do that. But I think in a different given situation, like he looked at it. That's really been the theme of this episode is kind of the whole Big Hero 6 moral is to look at a problem from a different perspective, and that's what him and the next scene that you'll be talking about, where they view it from a different angle and realize what they have to do, and they find a solution that way. I'm sure if it was in like a big public thing and there would have been lives at stake, he wouldn't have done that, but he looked at the situation that he was in, and
the fact that it was a test scenario as well. He said the fact that because it was a test scenario, chances are it's like
there's real stuff in there, at least something maybe non-lethal, but it served its purpose at least. And they never showed like what the gas was. It was some kind of weird pink gas, but it did its job. And so that does show like his straight up intellect as to why him, and again the next scene why Momo got admitted on the special recommendations. I guess she's rich and he's the son of the second number 2 hero, well now number 1 hero.
Yeah,
And but yeah, they do have that intelligence, and it's all it's really cool how they tie it back to, because guess who they all think about
Yeah.
while they're doing this.
Exactly. But
So go on, Klauss. Yeah.
Anyway, so the next scene, as Chris was alluding to, goes to Momo and Shoji, Tsuyu, and Jiro. They're all
Yes.
in a building.
Can
They're
I say
basically-
that this was my favorite scene in the episode?
It was
Absolutely.
fucking
Especially
I loved
that
how
one
this was
part,
handled.
one bit later on.
awesome. Mhm.
I loved how this whole scene was handled. The 4 of them are holed up in a higher floor of this building, and they're trying to scope out the situation. They're looking for their teammates. They're looking for other competitors, so they can kind of ascertain the situation and figure out their game plan. Because at this point, 56 people have passed at this point.
Mhm.
But then we cut to another student from another school. I'm trying to think what school it is. Sei Academy.
Yes, I believe that's right.
And we go to a student who has seems to have a really interesting quirk. When they explain it, basically she is a genius level person to begin with IQ of 150. But when she drinks tea, her intellect multiplies.
It's called the
And-
British quirk.
And then she basically, so her quirk is called IQ.
Yeah.
And she basically thinks her way through all of these scenarios, knows a lot of information about who she's going up against, and then she comes up with a plan and has all of her classmates basically follow through with it, and that's how they get through their scenarios. Well, they basically start by taking out all the windows, so the Shoji cannot look out and try and find anybody.
I see.
And-
That was the weirdest one out of all of them, in my opinion. I mean,
It makes sense. They're in a building with tempered glass. It's not going to shatter.
Yeah.
It's just, and break. It's going to just basically become, where they can't see through it.
that's true, I guess. But it's just that out of all of them, that seemed the weirdest one to be able to block by doing that. Yeah, I mean, I know that was to stop his quirk. It just felt like, and now we'll put curtains down.
Well, yeah, they could have sprayed paint or something on it as well. But they did something to whatever. They used a person's quirk to block the view through the windows. And then they, as Jiro was listening to these people coming up the building, they then played music at a very, pretty loudly and made it so it basically shocked her. So she, had to stop what she was doing there. So they no longer have that type of reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Then they end up locking them in this room, and they turn the air conditioner on at a super low temperature, which causes Tsuyu to almost go into a hibernative state.
Which
being
was
she's,
adorable
an
as
amphibian.
hell.
Yes.
That
Oh my
was so
God, I
cute
love
with
it so
her in like
much.
the little baby little blanket thing.
And
Yep.
Shoji's got her all wrapped up and holding her. I was like, oh,
Yep, and Momo made a
Oh,
blanket
shit.
for her because they couldn't get like a fire or an electric heater or something like that, because that wouldn't work. So they just had to resort to a blanket at that point.
Which was
And
the
then-
cutest thing ever, and I want that as a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, what they ended up doing is they every step that these students were taking was trying to make one of the other students, from UA Academy, make their quirks useless. The last thing they had to concern themselves about is making sure that Momo's creation quirk was rendered unusable, because when she uses that quirk, it basically burns up the lipids within her body, so she has a finite amount of things that she can create without replenishing herself. So basically, they didn't turn the AC on to make Tsuyu go to sleep. They made it so that she had to deal with, stopping that somehow. Because this girl, her name was Psycho Intelli, I
yeah,
believe.
she went. Yeah, and she goes by Psy. Her
Psy.
little servant
God.
kept calling her Psy.
I knew Gangnam Style will come back to haunt us at some point.
No, this is Psy from Naruto Psy, not Psy like Psyduck Psy.
Yes.
Psyduck.
Anyway.
Psy.
Aye.
She surmised that Momo would go into defensive mode because that seems to be her MO. You know, she is generally when she is presented with a problem, she goes into defensive mode and then tries to work her way out that way.
Yep.
However, something that Chris was alluding to was a scene that we get between the two teachers, Eraserhead and Ms. Joke, talking about how she thinks that he's all worried about his students, because he can't see what's going on. But he says it's actually the contrary. He knows that they're all working very hard, and there are two students out there that are making it so they are working hard, and they don't have to be around those two. They just have to know that they're there. And of course, he's talking about Bakugo and Deku, because those two have really influenced how everybody else in Class 1A thinks. They have been able to change the thinking processes and the way that they operate, and really improve how they act as not only people and students, but as up and coming heroes. So we see that because Deku is always about, saving his friends, and that's his number one goal. It's not about trying to get into a safe spot and then recoup. He will get in there and save his friends. So of course, Momo goes into offensive mode, and then she creates a giant speaker that the injured, what's her name again?
Jiro.
Jiro. She can use to basically use a sound attack to render everybody else unconscious.
Yeah, like a supersonic high frequency attack. That I guess she made the speaker to work with Jiro's heartbeat like she usually does with her speakers, but it was just so much powerful. It knocked like everybody else in the building out. It was great.
Yep.
Except for
Sai.
our Miss Sai. Yes.
She realized what was going on and got out of the line of fire, just enough to and then out of the way, make everybody think that all of them were knocked out, because they didn't know exactly how many other students were there. And then she sneaks up behind and knocks Momo back into the room, bolts the door, and basically is trying to make her submit, and then will knock her out with her balls and take out her targets.
Yes.
But of course, her friends are not going to just leave her there. They are going to, of course, save Momo, and Momo uses the last of her creation ability to basically handcuff herself to Sai and stop her from being able to just attack her the way she wants, while everybody else basically just makes it so she can't do anything else, and she yields.
Yep.
And the 8 of them are now knocked out by the 4 UA students. It just happened to be a perfect number for that group,
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yep, exactly. And they,
Yeah.
I think they are now, they are through.
Yep, and now we are up to 60 who have passed the test.
And then we switched over to Midori, and they were still fighting their group.
Yep, Midori and Ochako and Sero. We're all sitting there trying to figure out what their course of action is going to be. And of course, Midori comes up with a great plan. He knows that Sero and Ochako are very good at making people, so they can't move around,
restraining them.
Thank you. That's the word I was trying to think of. While Midoriya is definitely the one that's going to be targeted. So he comes up with a plan. He's going to be the bait. He's going to go out there and he's going to be, draw their fire.
Yeah.
While and get them all as close together as possible, so Sero can tape them up, and so Ochako can use her anti-gravity to basically keep it so they can't move. At which point they'll be able to then, take them out and hopefully move on as well.
Yep.
So I mean, they are really thinking on their feet in this episode.
And they're showing while they're doing this, they are showing what Aizawa was talking about, because they're thinking, what would Deco do? Okay, Deco, you're inspiring me, and then in the next scene too is Bakugo gets his chance because he's facing off now against one of the other members of what's the name of the high school? Shiketsu High School. Yeah.
He's fighting up against Seiji. Shizakura, I believe is his name, and he has one hell of a nasty looking quirk. It is Bakugo and Kirishima, and who is the third?
It's the lightning guy,
Kirishima, something like that.
No, it's the electricity guy, the one that blows his brains out. Kaminari, thank you.
Dinky.
I like him.
Yeah, and Kirishima actually gets caught up in that guy's quirk, and it basically turns him into like this really weird looking gooey mess of a thing.
He looked like Fry from the Futurama episode when he falls into the polluted lake and he comes out and he's just like, there are eyeballs everywhere. There's some hair patches. It's just like all gooey and putty.
Yeah,
looking.
I don't really understand what that quirk is. It looks really creepy and hopefully it can be reversed.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, bye
Yeah,
Kirishima.
I'm sure it's like something like a One Piece thing where if they knock him out, the power like dissipates or something like that.
It's some sort of like really raw transmogrification type of quirk, maybe.
Oh, imagine if the way they can beat him is if the guy still is conscious and he uses his quirk to harden himself.
Oh, they throw him at him?
This guy? The putty guy? Whatever?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, the guy they turned into putty. Remember his quirk is...
Oh, yeah, Kirishima, yeah, he can...
Is he part of the putty patrol?
Make my putty grow!
That's for another show. But then one thing they also did in this show is they showed what it's like for those who have passed.
Yeah.
So Todoroki ends up going to the green room, so to speak, the ante room, where all of the people who are either been knocked out or have passed will go to.
Yeah.
And we actually cut to a scene where Inasa from the Shiketsu High School is talking to some other guy who was knocked out, and he glances over at Todoroki, and he kind of gives him.
Yeah, they got some death stares right there.
Yeah, I mean, those were laser beams that was coming out of his eyeballs towards him, and Todoroki noticed it, and then so
even the guy in front of him noticed it because he's like, "You're the one who asked me questions. What do you mean?"
What are we talking about again? Yeah, so I mean, he's not quite as all up front as it seems.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really interested to see what his character is like.
That's why Bakugo has, in this upcoming scene, Bakugo has grown on me as a character because, like you said, there's something behind. Bakugo did that with the other guy that kind of blew up the ground and separated UA initially. Mm-hmm. But he was like, trying to be all friendly, and like, when Bakugo slaps his hand away and is like, I don't like fake people.
Yeah.
Bakugo knows what's going on because I think he can read what there's something in his eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and Bakugo, he's also been changing quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his character growth is definitely evident. He's still really rough around the edges, and he's still really angry. But he is also, learning to work with other people and not, specifically think that he has to do it all on his own.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I really respect his pride though, because it's evolving into something that's
Saiyan pride.
It's just this pure like, look, don't bullshit with me, don't fuck around with me. Like, you talk too much. Shut up and let's do it. Like, he's very straightforward, and I'm really beginning to admire Bakugo along with his character growth, like I have some of the others.
Yeah, and he's slowly learning that he can have his pride, and he can have his drive. What's bringing him to want to be a hero. But he's, like I said, he's learning that, he can't, rely on his own power all the time. And I think he's seeing that everybody's growing and he needs to grow with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just loving the character developments all around. It just keeps getting better and better.
It's really an amazingly written story.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys ready for my really good My Hero joke that I just researched? Okay. Because he didn't appear in this episode, I decided to pick this character because even though 99.9% of all people hate him, including Tim, I want to bring this up. What would Minato's villain name be if he fully embraced his dark nature? The grapefruit guy. He would be the grapist. Hey, it's better than the other one I was going to go with.
Boruto, just move on now.
No, I want to go with my other one I was going to go with.
Oh yeah, Boruto.
Oh, about that Boruto.
The Boruto.
So, did you get a chance to watch it now, Ben?
Yeah, I watched it while we were talking. Well, I watched the last 5 minutes. I watched the rest of it earlier.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got something to say before we start this part.
Oh, what was it?
Guess what I did?
Did you watch Boruto?
I watched this week's episode of Boruto. I haven't seen anything else of it, so I can chime in on this episode for a change.
So you watched the really bad episode?
Yeah.
Is it filler? It feels like it's filler.
It's filler.
Absolutely filler.
Yeah.
Isn't that the nature of Naruto, though? Filler? They have more filler episodes than actual important episodes?
I thought that was Dragon Ball.
Damn.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Well, no, Naruto really does have the most filler.
Yeah, if you don't want all that Dragon Ball filler, go watch Kai.
No.
But yes, we got a very lovely filler heavy episode that was surprisingly Chocho focused, and
which I'm so happy because I
was very happy about this. Yes,
the episode this week is called Super Chocho Butterfly Mode. Now, those of you who are familiar with Naruto know that Choji, one of his super secret techniques that he worked on towards the end of that series was that super powered butterfly mode.
Well, no, it's family jutsu.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that he didn't use up until the end, though.
Yeah,
because it basically, once he uses that mode, he's basically down for the count for a while because it uses up all of his chakra.
And originally, he had to use chakra pills to do it as well.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like their last ditch effort thing, and he was showing it to Chocho, who was all commenting in the background. Oh, that's so cool! Oh, that's amazing! That's neat! Wow! And it turns out she's watching some TV show with this actor.
Soap opera.
Yeah, soap opera type of thing. And she wasn't even commenting on what her dad was doing. He's all like, oh, what the hell? What do we got to do to get you to focus and learn this super secret technique, passed down in the family? And she's just all like, you need to bring this guy here. Tomaru, I believe, is the actor's name.
Yeah.
You bring him here, and then I'll definitely...
Tomaru and Ashina?
Ashina. Yeah.
Ashina.
So... it's basically a love drama that she's watching. And this is important because they are all Team 7 and Team 10 were all given this special mission that they actually need their parents to sign off on. So Choji signs off for Chocho. We then cut to Mitsuki with Orochimaru, and they're talking back and forth about again how he shouldn't be using all the powers the way he is, and and Mitsuki's all like, I'd still do what I need to do here, but he needs to sign the scroll too, and they're training back and forth. It's kind of neat to see the kids working with their parents. The funniest thing that was said, Mitsuki says, "So are you my father or are you my mother?"
It was an oddly endearing moment between him and I honestly have I know Orochimaru has changed, but it's still weird seeing him like showing that
anything.
and any like just that emotion, like the whole
Yeah.
father-son thing in that way. It was a great little scene. Like,
Yeah,
so
and
you
he's
my
like,
father or are you my mother?
I've been in males, I've been in females, so it really doesn't matter. He basically he's a very gender fluid ninja. So
I guess Naruto was like pro gender before it was cool.
They were, they really were.
So anyway, all of the members from Team 7 and 10 get their slips signed, and they go report to the missions office, where they run into a couple of people looking around for the Hokage's office. And those two people looking around happen to be Tomaru and Ashina, the actor and actress from that show.
And Chocho about has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Basically.
So she was so adorable this whole episode. Oh my god. Just everything she did was so cute. And girly, I loved it.
Oh, as they're heading there, we also see that she can do the butterfly jutsu. However, when she does it, it transforms her into a very skinny version of herself without the power. So she basically uses it as a transmogrification jutsu.
Because she wants to look good for her job.
Yes. and it was funny as hell. Boruto was going up to, who's this girl? I'm Boruto. It's Chocho, you idiot. He's like, whoa.
Well, right before that, he was saying like Chocho's not that pretty. He was talking shit on Chocho like right in front of her face, and he didn't realize it.
It was pretty funny. So anyway, they get their mission. Team 7 is the bodyguard for Ashina, and Team 10 will be working with to protect Tomaru, because they have been getting death threats, saying that if they don't end the show or something like that, they will. I don't remember what they said they're gonna do.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was, but basically they're gonna kill them or whatever for if they don't stop the show.
Yeah, it really odd. But anyway, they get their bodyguards, and they go into a showing kind of a behind the scenes of them, filming at the Hidden Leaf Studios. Who knew that the Hidden Leaf Village was going to get their own movie studio, right?
The ninja. Well, they even said in the episode like the ninja world is really growing and changing, huh?
Yeah.
Like they had to forcefully acknowledge that point and say that before they said, "Oh yeah, we've got a film studio," and we're like, "Wait, what?" Oh, I guess it is growing and changing. I don't know.
So through all of that, what's funny is, Chocho is inside. She's fangirling because she gets to work, close to Tomaru. But on the outside, she keeps basically pretending that, it no big deal. And basically just kind of like being so nonchalant about everything. Oh, you need some water? Here you go. That's no big deal. Here you go. Oh, he says, "Oh, get some food." "Oh, I got you some food. Here you go. It's no big deal."
She was trying so hard to act so cool around him.
Yeah.
And she goes around the corner and she's like melting, like, ah! Or like...
She was trying her best to not be. I'll tell you now, that's what I'm like at any video game event that we're invited to. I'm like,
oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Oh, God.
But inside you're like, oh my god.
As soon as you get out of sight, just collapse.
One of the funniest scenes was where Tomaru is all like, you're doing such an amazing job of protecting us and being our bodyguard. I actually want you to protect this piece as well. So he hands her a little box, and in that box is this prop ring that's really important to this show. And she opens it up and she's like, oh my god, inside. And
I was just disappointed though at that scene though, in a way. I'll admit that though. I know it's to be cutesy and stuff, but when she's like, oh, I'm gonna give up my ninja way and become a wife.
Yeah, she kind of starts, having these daydreams about becoming Tomaru's wife and blah 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 blah, and she's just all over this guy. So.
I know it's a young girl; she's fangirling, and but I felt like it was a bit But to fair, she's never really shown much love in ninjutsu anyway, really. But it just felt like, I don't know, felt a bit cheap.
Yep. Shortly after that scene, they're in the middle of filming another bit when the wall explodes and a ninja peeks through.
A ninja sneaks in Naruto?
I know, right? And
the
tries
best part
to
of
attack.
the best part about this is when you see him, it's actually the head psych guy from Mob Psycho 100.
I thought it was the guy from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah, Psycho Man or the other guy.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis. Yeah,
Tim
bald
says
dude with a gas mask on, standard look. Anyways,
so they try and subdue this attacker, but he ends up being a clone, and they end up finding their actual ninja, and Shikadai stops him with his shadow paralysis jutsu, and Chocho broke her jutsu so she could land a firm punch on this guy. But then she sees Tomaru looking over her way, so she has to reuse it again. and she flies across with butterfly wings and basically hits nothing.
Yeah.
And the whole thing just it falls through, and the guy gets away.
Couldn't stand to have him look at her and see her in that form.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of a pride issue.
Yeah, she didn't want to see her fat. Yeah, her normal form.
Yeah.
Well, chubby. She's not really fat like Choji was.
Well, once the dust settles, the director is all concerned because one of the actresses ended up getting hurt in this and is all upset.
She looked okay to me. I don't know how hurt she was.
Hurt her leg. It was her leg. If you looked, her leg was bad.
Her leg got hurt. Yeah. She sprained her ankle or something like that.
Oh no, not her ankle. In these scenes where she's standing around.
Yes.
I know.
But Tomaru has the idea that Chocho should take over the role.
I really think something suspicious is going on with him.
Well, yeah, you think? But
he is evil.
The thing that really gets to Chocho is as she's going through the script, she sees that there's a kissing scene.
Dum, dum, dum.
And basically, then we get the preview for next week, and it's going to be more of the same. So yeah,
I love that the episode that I come back to the Ninja World on here is this particular episode because it had moments in it that actually did remind me of a lot of the charms that I love about the Naruto series as a whole. All the characters in that. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, this story arc reminds me of something they put into Naruto SD.
Well, this was something from Naruto. Remember that famous actress that was visiting Naruto and that was the ice train?
Well, that was one of the movies.
I thought they made a filler.
I never saw it.
Yeah, they had a movie where they were there was a bunch of actors they had to protect.
Oh, that
was
was it. Yeah.
But that was a little bit more of a serious story.
Yeah.
But like I said, this story is reminds me of something that'd be on Rock Lee and his ninja pals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just kind of cute, happy, funny. It has its moments. It's really lighthearted in the.
Yep. I was just waiting for the crow to fly, going, "Oh, oh."
Yes, dude. Yeah, no, I thought it was a fun episode, and I'm gonna watch it next week.
It was very lighthearted. It was something that was desperately needed. Because a lot of the other past episodes had been more on the serious tone because it was a good story, but like I said, it was more of a somber and serious tone with the amount of fighting that was happening within it. So going to a more lighthearted arc for a couple of weeks for filler, while we then progress to the next story arc. It's not a bad idea.
It is canon filler, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a story for a story. It's actually happening.
Yeah.
So it's not like anime exclusive filler. It's just kind of like.
Well, it won't be in the manga because the manga is only like once a month. And the manga is actually almost still behind the anime. So
that's why we might have a few fillers while the manga gets ahead.
Oh no, the anime has always been ahead of the manga.
Interesting.
Because the manga started after the anime, and the manga is once a month.
Oh, okay. So basically, the manga is a catch up.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. That's actually very odd in the
They're
Yeah.
doing
in
that.
world.
They're doing that with Boruto as well as Dragon Ball Super.
Yep. Dragon Ball Super's doing the same thing.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I remember you told me about Dragon Ball Super. I had no idea they were doing that with Boruto too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a. Whenever I hear about that, that seems weird to me because it's always usually the manga that has to stay ahead of the anime.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then we get filler.
that's what they did with Z. That's why they had so much filler in Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Garlic Jr. coming back from the movie.
That's
That was
what they
all
did with
filler,
Bleach as well.
Bleach was a big one. Bleach had a bunch of filler arcs.
Yeah.
One Piece does it too.
Yeah.
Even
They
half
get
of
filler arcs
Naruto
in there all the time.
was filler because it was trying to get the
Well, look at
the
Shubidin, where like for like 2 months with that filler.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
There was almost a full season of filler.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then Naruto had
Bleach-
like a year of filler.
Bleach has done that too.
Yeah.
They had a couple arcs that they just went like full on filler into some side story before. They didn't even like do it after they finished like a main arc. They would like interrupt the main arc, break the fourth wall, and pretend that they're actors and saying that they have a special story, and then they jump into a completely different story. Everybody's there, everybody's fine. It's like a sitcom,
Yeah.
reboot episode. It was just always so kind of jarring. At least One Piece, their filler feels kind of natural because every time it's their ship kind of getting detoured on a different island, and then they go back to the main thing wherever the story is. The manga in One Piece is still ahead of the anime.
But basically,
I
what
don't
the
think
Boruto manga does is it almost keeps up with the anime, but it skips like these filler episodes. But they'll have dialogue in the manga to reference it. So, like, you know when I can't remember when Boruto went to the Mist, Klauss.
Mm-hmm.
They skipped that whole part in the manga, but at the same
Really?
time, yeah, they skipped it all.
Because I liked that story. I thought it was good character building.
Oh, it was amazing. They really showed off some good characters, but they mentioned the character. They mentioned the characters in the manga.
Well,
Even
they would
though
have
even
to because they were talking about them during the Chunin exam.
yeah, they mentioned all
You know-
that in the manga and how they met them, but they never showed them.
So they
in the manga.
referenced the trip, but they didn't actually write it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so the
Yeah.
anime added the trip, but the manga talked about how it happened, but we never saw it. So,
'Cause I liked those episodes. I
those
thought it
were
was
some
fun.
of the best.
So yeah, that's this week's Boruto.
Yeah.
So how's that wine?
Wine is good, yes. Wine.
You sound like you've been chugging it back there. Wine's good. I like wine.
Nah,
You guys
it's late.
doing?
That's good stuff. I love you guys.
I love you guys. He's the
Yes.
best.
You know, some of those sweets nearby. I could eat one of those while you're drinking it.
I have a separate stomach for cake and ice cream.
Boo like ice cream. Boo like cake.
Boo cake?
Boo cake.
So,
That's something else.
we are-
You guys say
Boo not
bukkake?
handsome.
you just keep saying that.
You see how he always goes right there?
Yeah.
Boo turns you to candy.
All right, Boo.
Anyway,
Boo
So-
swallow you whole.
Oh my.
Jesus fucking hell. Too late for this shit, I tell you. Anyway, anime of the week. The choice, of course, was mine last week in celebration of it being a choice. And I chose... yes, that's me talking as ever. Yes, I chose My Love Story, which is a favourite of mine, I have to say. For once, something I'd actually watched beforehand and decided would be a cool thing for everyone to watch. So I'll just go through a description of what the show is about and then talk about it a bit, and then everyone else can talk about it. So Yura Takeo is a first-year high school student clocking at 2 meters and 120 kilos. He's a socially awkward hothead who is straight as an arrow. One day he saves a high school roper on a train, naturally, and falls in love with her the next day. but when she comes by to thank him, he assumes that she is here to meet his best friend, who is a handsome man, just a Suna, and then tries to set them up instead because he's that kind of guy. All the guys adore him as a man. They like how courageous and true he is, and they want they want to be his friend, but the girls don't want to know. That's it. And similarly, Yamato, this girl, all the girls love her and want to be like her, and it's just this whole thing of miscommunication. She really actually does want to go out with our hero, and it basically chronicles the love story of these two guys, just dealing with their own little weird hardships and problems, especially for Takeo, who is not used to being involved in a relationship like this. And it's pretty sweet, beautiful anime, despite it does a lot of the same stuff that you get in anime, where it's there's the guy for unfathomable reasons, but here at least it feels a bit more grounded and nice, and just more wholesome in a way, as much as it can be when you fall in love because you stop someone from ripping you. But still, it's a really lovely story of a relationship, and it has its ups and downs and doubts, as you do. And I really love this anime, but I want to hear what everyone else thinks about it. That's the main thing. So whoever would like to go first, by all means, kick off and tell me what you think of my love story.
I'll take the first stab at this because this feels very it feels very personal to me. Now, why would you do this to me, Neil? You knew what this show would do to me. Why? I just oh my god, I love. Let me just say first, I love it so much. It's been a really nice, refreshing. I've been looking for a good anime comedy / romance, and this just hit all of the notes in what I was looking for. It was funny, it was endearing, it was so goddamn adorable. Everything they do, the kid, I love the characters, and the biggest thing that I love about the anime is it you think it's gonna fall into the same tropes that a lot of other shows like this do, but it doesn't. It subverts like every trope you think is gonna happen. And it kind of tricks you at first, because during the first episode, like at the end of it, he's like, I'm gonna do everything I can to get you two together, because he's just so insecure with when it comes to girls and and his history with Sona, that I was afraid that this was going to turn into like 26 episodes of basically the idiot ball being passed around or something like that. And then the second episode, no, Sona fucking steps up like a real man, and he's like, okay, did you get it through your thick skull yet? She likes you. And he steps in as a bro. And each one of these characters, as you get to know them more, like, you're almost unsure of them until they really bring out those beautiful characteristics. And it's nice to have a show like this, because I was afraid that it was gonna, you're gonna have this typical like, oh, they broke up, oh, it's a miscommunication, this, that, and the other. And they have that, but it never gets unrealistic, because they actually, surprise, fucking talk about the problems. Yeah, they need a little bit of nudge from their friends sometimes, but it's still, like you said, it's grounded, and it's really refreshing to have kind of this grounded comedy where everything is almost believable except the tremendous strength of the main character, which makes him absolutely endearing and just adorable. They set him up to be this charming teddy bear. He is the definition of the teddy bear. And everybody at first is like, oh my god. And I like how they tell the whole story, along with the red ogre, blue ogre, fairy tale. And yeah, it's really nice to, like I said, it was refreshing, and they keep everything else grounded except for the antics of the main character, and that just makes everything he does more endearing, and everything that he says just more I love Gota, man. He's something special, and I identify with him. I only wish I could have been as big and strong as he was, but
Yeah.
I just because then I would have had something going for me. No, I just had the weird awkwardness and the inability to. And I was a chubby kid growing up, so there was that plus the weird awkwardness and inability to talk to girls. Yeah, to see Yamato just fall for him and look past all that, really, it made me feel, okay, this is going to sound really corny. It made me feel the same way as, like, I'm sure he feels as I felt about my wife when I first met her, because there was actually like, wait, you like me? You're actually passionate about? What the fuck? What happened? What alternate universe did I step into where a girl actually likes me? And like, and I'm sure we all have been there, and that's why it's so relatable. But yeah, I love everything about this show. It's absolutely perfect and wonderful. If you want to feel good and happy and fuzzy and tingly and everything, I love it so much. So thank you for the recommendation, Neil. You hit all my adorable buttons, and it's just
Oh dear. Did I want to hit your adorable button?
You did. It was a good thing. It was a very good thing.
Going off what Chris said, I wasn't able to watch the whole thing. I only got to, I believe, 8 episodes because other things happened. And because I have a hard time watching subtitled animes. Usually I watch everything at work.
Garri, if it makes you feel better, that's about how far I made it too, and I plan on finishing this if possible, because I didn't get a chance to binge it until yesterday. And as soon as I started watching it, I binge it, so I got through as much as I could. So yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah, and because I have to play a certain game right now too, all my attention has been on that. But of the 8 episodes I watched, I agree with Chris. This is a great show. And it's great for so many reasons that Chris mentioned. But for me, and it's something that I love about a lot of animes that have humor in them, is when it randomly has shit happening in the background that is technically part of the story, but it's like the super overreaction of things that happen. And I love that stuff. Like one of my favorite ones was when he's like, you have to let me kiss you. He tells his best friend so he can learn how to kiss.
Oh my God.
He gets the spring grab.
Oh, that was amazing.
He'll be fine.
This scene made me think of you, Garri. I thought
Garri was doing that to you.
Yes,
Oh my God.
I thought of you, Garri.
No, like it's the so small funny things, like when he says it, and then all of a sudden there's a blizzard in the background for no reason for like half a second. Then it comes back, and I love those moments, and like these crazy overreactions that a lot of the characters have. I also love. I keep forgetting his best friend's name.
Sonnet.
So yeah, I loved his sister. And when she appears, and then she's like devastated that he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, she like collapses on the doorstep in tears.
and her brother is just like he has like the most mellow face. Like he has no reactions to anything. He just talks.
Yeah.
Like he has no empathy about anything. He's just like the most mellow looking face the entire show.
Yeah. In the beginning, in the first episode where they had that montage, he's talking about how every time Suna gets asked out by a girl, and he's just like,
oh my God, it's such
it's
a
like, I
great
don't give a shit. Yeah, it's like, don't care.
I hate you. I don't like you.
Oh, that was
And it shows like he says it, and then it cuts to like them talking, like the two of them, and like the girl is like broken and devastated in the background. It's stuff like that I absolutely loved about this show.
I love the rolling joke that everyone falls in love with him though.
Oh yeah, like when they go, he's looking for the birthday present for Yamato, and they go to the shopkeep, and he goes, "I don't have any money right now, but I wonder if they'll hold this for me. Let me go ask." So Sunakawa goes to ask, and she's all like, "Yeah," that's fine.
Oh, it's like the when they're picking up the baby carriage, and he runs. You see that she's struggling to. My babies. What's he doing with my baby? Yeah, just carry. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Wait, I didn't do it. He did it. Thank you.
They all just thank him because he's not big and scary.
He's the pretty boy.
He's the pretty boy. And then everybody sees them together, like, what? Those two are like on the subway, their first day at school.
All the girls like, oh my god, that guy is so handsome.
And all the guys
all
like,
the
oh my god,
that guy is so manly. And they're best friends? What?
Yeah. I fucking love it.
But yeah,
I like that.
His sister, the moment when, like, I don't know if she comes back in the show. I hope she does.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I loved her character. But the part when she's confronting the girl that's dating him, and they start talking about how great he is, and they just keep going back and forth, and her brother is just slowly backing away. He's like, what the hell? I gotta get out of here.
His big broad shoulders and his pecs. Oh, I know, it's so great.
And he's just getting all terrified. He's like, I gotta get out of here. This is getting too much. I love those things. Like, it's the things that swerve your eye, I guess you can say, away from what's happening to what's happening in the background. And I love that stuff. And like, Fairy Tail does it a lot too. That's one of the reasons I love that show. Is like there's so much background stuff happening that you can pay attention to. And this show has it as well, and I absolutely love that about the show. And it's sad because like you hear like all their friends talking about him and her, and like he's ugly. How could she be with him? And you know him being this kind of character who gets that, like he understands why people say that. Like it makes him feel like shit, but it doesn't like deteriorate him from being who he is, which is this gentle giant who just wants to help people. And you know the idea that he loves this girl, but like early on he loves this girl, but he wants his best friend to be happy rather than himself.
Because he shows this like a sign of not being an arsehole about it. He's like, oh, they must be made for each other. So that's how bad it's got for him.
Yeah, and like he just accepts this idea now that he's always going to be miserable, and then when he's not, he becomes this super awkward character that he's happy that he finally has a girlfriend, but he has no idea how to be in that situation. And watching him kind of grow through the episodes that I watched was fantastic.
Because it's not just about this love story between Goda and Yamato. There's also this, as they even call it in the show, a bromance, between Goda and Sunakawa, and how much they've been friends for over 10 years, like since they were in kindergarten, and just how much the two of them care about each other, even though they are absolute polar opposites. I mean, they are the most the oddest couple, but they balance each other so well. When the show first starts, you kind of see Sunakawa as this cold bastard. He seems really, like he doesn't have much for feelings, rejecting all those girls. And then when we learn the fact that he's doing it because of their back talking about Goda, that was just, when you learn that aspect of it, it was just like, wow, there's actually, a lot to this guy.
You feel the same expression as Goda gets on his face. This manly bro. Oh, I love you.
So over the top with Goda, it's just amazing. And like I said, I when I was in that situation, like I said, when I was in high school, I was towering over everybody too. I'm 6'5", so I mean I know exactly how it is. I didn't have the strength, unfortunately, but. So yeah, I mean, like I said, being able to relate to somebody like that, where you fall for the girls and then the girls fall for all the pretty boys and stuff like that. So it really hit a lot of spots for me too. So this was amazing. I got halfway through the first season now, so I'm gonna catch the second season here and then just be able to enjoy that. It's really, really refreshing, and it's a very enjoyable anime.
It really is. Who else hasn't spoken? Tim.
This is one of two recommendations that have helped quite a bit, actually. And I'm not sure exactly how comfortable I am right now in talking about it publicly, but this, as well as Robert Webb's book, have been things that have both organized my own thoughts and justified. And I don't want to go too said because it's just going to be redundant. But what I would like to say is that as somebody who appreciates people on a pure, very personal level, like outside of physical, it's all, for me, it's all personality. Like if it's a resonating thing, it's just, it's my thing. And to watch these two young people find each other for each other, not just for status or looks or any of that, is so gratifying to see. It's one of those things that people want. Like, it's proper representation of actual human love. It's not just, like filling a gap or ticking off a social cue or things like that. And it's so fucking wonderful to have something actually representative of the way that my mind works. Because and I can go with it too. Like when I first met Crystal way back when, a decade and a half ago, I was very much like that. Like I really liked her, but I knew that I was just this kind of fly on the wall. It took me, like, what did she say? What did she always say? It's something like 4 or 5 weeks of her basically saying she liked me for me to accept it. Just because I had spent all that time knowing that I was basically disconnected from everybody. And that's kind of been our relationship forever. Like, it's her persevering through my social inadequacies. And it's such a rewarding thing to find somebody who's so willing to understand your capabilities and is willing to help you reach them.
Hallelujah, baby.
That's where, thank you for,
Sorry, Tim. I had to say it because I feel this exact same way. I know exactly where you're coming from, man.
I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, all in all, in my life this week, liberation that's been 30 years in the making, and this is a part of it. So thank you very much for this recommendation.
Touched to say on that front. That and the book, because it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, bad stuff.
I think we have a new member who I'm sure would like to chime in on this.
Oh yes, because there is an Ernest.
A wild sensei has appeared.
Oh my god, Ernest, I missed you so much. Welcome.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. My alarm.
I don't feel the same love, but it's okay.
Garri, I just love hearing Ernest make these noises. I'm recording these, and they're going to be my ringtone now.
No, don't.
Hopefully, I'm recording these because it's the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
gonna be.
I'm still so sleepy.
But you're here. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yep.
And talk your opinion.
I mean, I hope I'm not too redundant. I don't know everything that's been said so far. Let's see. So I've watched most of the show before it was recommended for this week, and then watched some more of it, and I'm only a few episodes shy of the ending. But I mean, I like it. It's a very pure story, as I'm sure a lot of people have already said, and very cute, and has a lot of good, just genuinely funny moments throughout. For me though, it does I don't know how far everyone's gone, but for me, it does lose some steam.
I think towards the end, it's like you've done most of the scenarios that you could have. I think that after
Yeah,
that,
it kind of just, I hate to say it gets boring, but it kind of does, where there just isn't enough, I guess, drama, conflict, just enough
that's it.
happening to keep my interest grabbed. That's why I ended up falling off of it and dropping the show when I was like watching it during its airing, just because I don't know, there just wasn't enough to hook me till the end.
The formula is very much to be very good natured, and unfortunately that does only go so far. So
right,
the last few episodes are like a victory. It's like, yeah, you've done really well. We'll grant you the fact that you've done really well. Maybe you should have wrapped up a few episodes earlier, but still, great.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty long for a series of its nature in this day.
Yeah, I mean,
episodes. That's 2 cores. Usually this would be like a 1 core show, so it'd be like 12 to 14 episodes. So
yeah, it only takes like 4 episodes for it to actually kick into gear with the whole. Oh no, I like you. Oh, okay, there we go, and that's where it really kicks off. And at that point, it should be a 15 episode show at best. I'd say really.
Yeah, at most. Yeah.
But at the same time, I was quite pleased to go for it all the same. It's like just because it was so refreshingly different. I think even with those extra episodes being that way, again, probably a symptom of anime in general, where sometimes you just go too far because you feel you're onto a good thing and you want to keep expanding on it. And you don't know if you'll get that second season or a second chance. So you're like, we'll just tell as much story as we can. And in this case, it does, I agree, feel like a little bit too much towards the end. But not in a terrible way,
No. Just, kind of loses a little bit of steam. But overall,
I want to say it's probably my favorite anime we've had so far. I really felt connected to the character, mainly because I am a big fat ugly thing, and I don't feel like I'm going to be loved. So the idea, I know that sounds stupid, but I've lived alone most of my life. I've supported other people with stuff like this, so I feel a lot like the main character does. So when I have been in relationships in the past, I've been oblivious of it, if I'm honest. So I feel really connected with the main character through the whole, what I've seen so far anyway, up to episode 12, I think.
Okay.
I've really enjoyed everything so far, as I said. But I'm trying to remember the line because it made me giggle. I can't remember what episode it was, and I can't remember the exact line, but it was something about the birthday episode where he kept saying something like, that's how people are born, or something like that. It was like, what? The only time anyone mentioned birthdays, it's like, people are born. I'm like, yes!
I know what you're talking about, but I can't recall the line either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get the general feeling. It's a very... But then, very in character.
Yeah.
He just says stuff like that.
It was just so random, because he has like a serious face as he's saying it as well. It's like, well done. Birthdays are when people are born. But it sounds like Klauss is not. You guys know me. Klauss knows me, but that sounds like something I would say.
You are the gentlest of giants, Ben.
The shortest giants,
line,
but
the line that people say, people die when they're killed.
Yes. That's a classic.
I think that's everyone's opinion on it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So I suppose we'll go for rate. I know not everyone's watched all of it, but we do ratings, whatever. So if we go around and do the old ratings, starting with you, Ben, as you were last on there.
I want to give it a 9.
Provisional 9. Ernest.
Whew. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what you said, that makes sense. Completely. Yeah. Chris.
Yeah. It's a perfect 10 for me. Honestly, it's even if it loses steam later on, I'm loving how I'm feeling right now. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Like I said, at worst, it's a victory lap. You know,
Mhm.
that's the worst you could say about it. You know, and considering they're a series that lasts 13 episodes and don't do fuck all, Sword Guy.
Netflix stuff. Sword Guy.
Yeah.
Paid extra.
Okay, Klauss.
Yeah, I would have to say this is a solid 8.5 for me. Like I said, the storyline is adorable. I like the art style. There's a lot of watercolors, especially in the background.
Yeah,
It's done very well. It's very soft. It
I
fits
talked
this
about that
type.
much. So yeah, it's very eye-catching, I have to say, in what it does.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. But like I said, I'm about 12 episodes in, and I've noticed from probably about episode 6 on, a lot of the themes in the stories do start to seem repetitive, but they're done entertainingly. So I am still enjoying this series. It just keeps me from giving it a perfect 10.
Yeah, again, this comes back to anime in general, doesn't it? It's like most of them have this same problem where they'll recycle stories in slightly different ways.
Simpsons did it.
No way.
And here I think because it's so simple and honest in what it does on its base, it covers a lot less ground that most could do. So yeah, I think that does work against it in a bit.
Yes, that scene had me laughing so hard.
That was an amazing scene.
They're delicious. More. His little voice inside.
They're salty. Oh my god! I was like, I love salty things.
Where I lost it, I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard. Is that episode that you were describing, Garri, where he's talking with where she's talking with the sister, and she runs off, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go talk to him now." Turns around, runs off, and just trips and face plants. And it was just quiet. And she's just lying there for like 3 seconds, and then she pops back up and starts running out. And I just lost it. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, yes.
There were a lot of moments like that in this show.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I'm sorry. To me, when he just grabs the freaking shrink wrap, like he just pulls it.
I died there.
Look, I brought shrink wrap for it. It'll be okay.
What about the fact that
nothing happened?
What about the fact that she
starts killing him with it? He's like, here it comes, and you see his lips in his iris.
Oh, what about the sort of the bit where she wants to be closer, and anyone with a dirty mind is starting to think it's going to be Luda, and then it's like, no, I just want to hold hands.
Oh, and then when she asks to hold hands, and he does that kind of the whole thing, he grabs her, basically her full forearms, and he's kind of like holding her like a doll.
Well, when they do hold hands, and
they're like flamenco dancing, like trying to figure it out, like twist her around.
Yeah.
All they run when they do hold hands, he's just like holding her entire arm in his hand.
Yep.
Yes, the episode where he saves everybody from fire as they're going in.
Amazing.
That was, but as they're going in, and she trips over that milk crate that's sitting there.
Oh,
and he just like grabs her, and she's like hanging off the ground, and it does the whole cute thing where she's like chibi, and her legs are just these little floppy things, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were so light." Just full of moments like that just make it the entire.
What about? I don't know if you guys got to the forest episode.
Oh yes, when they get lost in the mountains.
Yeah. And
I haven't got there yet.
Don't spoil it for me because that is an amazing.
Yeah, you definitely.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Then I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that was one of my highlights, I think.
Oh yeah, I will agree with that. Just the friends' reactions and what happens there. Yes.
Yeah, it is definitely a high point.
The beach episodes are also amazing.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Like have you seen the? I can't remember how early the beach
I've
one
read
was.
I've read the descriptions of a couple episodes ahead, and so like I read like the beach description episode was that Yamato's trying to like look cute in her bikini for Goda, and I was oh my god, I can't wait to watch this one. It sounds like it's so cute.
It was really good.
In any other anime, that would be an absolute disaster piece of an episode because you would know exactly what to expect out of it. But
I'll be honest, we got the opposite, I think, because we got like female fan service with the way he was.
Yeah, it's what it goes against type again.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. It subverts every trope you think it's throwing at you, and it's just better for it.
I say, and this is why, like I was saying with Ernest, it's like why it kind of gets that pass with the last few episodes because it has done so much different and refreshing and fun and sweet, and you just want to, you are more willing to forgive that, at that point. It's like yeah, maybe someone should have told you to stop early, but still, you do you've done fine.
In some ways, it works with the show because he's quirky and doesn't know when to stop. The anime doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah, that is a pretty good point. Yeah, I mean, this was as an anime. Normally I just go on recommendations and like that. This was one of the rare ones where I just saw the description and thought, this sounds a little different. I'll give it a go. I did, finished it, loved it, and just, my God, yeah, and just I sat on it for so long, but it's just such a different show. And it is usually the case where I'm positive about stuff in anime where it is doing something a bit different. And that really does help. Because, we've done this long enough where you know that I roll my eyes at just tropes in the genre. So when anything subverts them or novel, inventive way, it's great, and I'm always up. This was the first one really got me in a long while. I was like, yes, this is more like it. This is something that is very inherently within the anime sphere. Also, something you could never do outside of Japan. It's just perfect in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yep, there.
That's the scene.
Yes! Oh my god, I love it so much.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The way she gets up after is just pure comedy.
What did you think, dude? It's just like flying out in space. Oh my god. That's fantastic.
Right. Oh, we haven't gone around everyone yet. So, who did we say? Tim.
I think I'm going to accompany my score with a bit of an explanation because when I first gave my thoughts, I neglected a few of my frustrations with the show, and Ernest covered them. I knew because he and I talked about these things because we're jabbering girls together, and it's amazing.
Oh my god! Is Ernest your Sona? Are you? Oh,
he's my senpai.
Sona,
so cute.
He teaches me life
so much.
Suna, okay.
Yeah, no, not well. I mean, actually,
I understand now.
More awesome.
It's Tsugi?
You'd be Kirito.
Okay.
But I because of that, I was gonna give it maybe like an 8 or 8.5, but I want to give this show a 9 for one big point, and its representation. Not only for myself, like it being a big deal for me, but one thing that I also very much appreciate because I have a few friends who this way. It's Makoto himself, and it's very interesting that they created an asexual character that's also male, because it's already hard enough to find asexual characters, but a male one, like you have a super stigmatized mentality when it comes to men and masculinity, right? It's all about sex. And the whole entire show, like he knows when somebody's, like, for instance, if a teenager's Twitter page is, liking somebody else, or, things like, or even with him, but he has no interest. He'd rather read or hang out, but he also kind of lives vicariously through his lifelong friend. Like, he wants his friend to be happy in the way that he wants to be happy, and he lives through that. And I really appreciate that level of appreciation in anything, let alone anime. So yeah, 9.
It is Garri. Your last.
Hello,
Easy
Gary.
guide.
Thanks, Comcast.
No, I'm here. I was on mute. Sorry.
Okay.
We were going to
Thanks,
start damning
Comcast.
Comcast.
Of the episodes that I watched, I will give it an 8.5.
Strong.
Like I
Strong.
said,
Strong.
I love, like, the main story is great, but I love all the other stuff in the show, stuff that they don't really talk about. Like I mentioned, like all the background stuff that's happening.
Did you catch some of the like when Goto would do something like big and boastful or embarrassing or something like that? Sana would usually be sitting on the side, and you'd see some text appear above his head.
Yeah,
and it's like
fantastic.
It's his inner monologuing, like you're too loud or something like that.
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. That's so great.
That was amazing. Seeing those little inner monologues coming off of each of the characters as they're having their discussions.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to watch each episode a couple times to like catch everything and really like appreciate all of the little bits they do, like you're saying, Garri, all the background stuff, because you might even miss some of it. There's so much there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also will say 9 on this one, just because like Ernest alluded to as well, it does drop off a little at the end. Yes, as much as it does subvert some tropes, it does also follow a few. And that's what I'm very, very picky with this shit. I have to say.
Like listening to all of you talk about the earlier part of the series, I'm just like, yeah, right. It was like really funny and a lot of fun. But then, yeah,
So it's just like a relationship. It starts off
keep
really
that going. Like, it just doesn't keep some of that level of humor going towards, because and maybe it's not all their fault, because they're having to base it off of what they've got for the manga source material. It could be just that they're like, we've just kind of hit this point where we're keep going.
I'm glad you brought that up though, Ernest, because when I was watching the show, and I'm like, are they going to carry this on for 24 episodes? Like, it's going to get
It's a long time to carry it on, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Ernest, what you're saying is the show starts off like a relationship. Really good at the start, but slowly at the end, you just get a little bitter.
Oh, yes. What was the...
This hurts my heart.
Joke from Jeff. Jeff Dunham had a great joke with Walter. It was like, when you say "till death do you part," you'll realize later you're setting a goal.
My heart hurt again.
It's a marathon.
I love it.
I think the thing is, and like this is why, as I said at the end, I still tolerated that, is because I don't know, in a good relationship that you get to that point, where everything becomes very samey, because you naturally will, because you spend that amount of time with one person, you're going to have that, and it's maybe the smaller details in that you get, and you're like, yeah, okay, not much has changed, but it's not as exciting as it was, but there's a fondness that just keeps you enveloped in it and just keeps you all up and fuzzy in it, and you're just, fucking hell, aren't I fucking lucky to be in such a great situation? And that perfectly describes the final run in this series for me. From my personal experience,
I'm with you there, Neil. I've been married over 14 years now, and this hit a lot of those same, it felt, like I said, it felt personal, because there was a lot of similar stuff that, underneath, actually, I could relate to a lot with how this goes. And as your relationship goes on, the most important things become an honest and open communication with each other, and a passion for each other that doesn't wane. I don't know how to describe it.
It isn't affected by outside sources, really. As much as they are there, ultimately you are just going on what you feel for each other and how you click.
Yeah, it's your best friend is what they will be. Your best friend for the rest of your life, and that's exactly how you want it.
Excuse me, you call me your best friend.
Well, this is actually Garri. You mentioned it. It's a good parallel because alongside that, his friendship with Suna is so much a part of that.
Yes.
So it's still, which if you get into a relationship, that is one of the big things. Is like how your friends are going to be with you and how everyone's going to interact. That can change so much depending on the relationship, and when it isn't really a problem, and there's support there. That's one. And again, this is wholesome in that regard because it does take that and see it as your friends are still there for you. They want you to do well. You've done enough. That's great. That they're not going to go against you because of this. They want you to succeed. They want everything to go right for you still. As much as you think different, you believe they deserve better than you. In this case, he believes that everything should be going well for his friend and him. And sad as it is, and he learns shouldn't be that way, and he can have happiness, and people will be happy for it eventually.
See, Garri, I would do that for you.
There you go.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
He doesn't believe me. Yeah.
I wouldn't believe him either. He's told me the same thing.
Wow.
All I know, isn't it my choice this week?
Yeah, is it? I don't know.
I think it's either you or Klauss. No, Klauss went.
I've picked already.
What about Ernest?
Oh yeah, there's Ernest.
Well, Ben, keep in mind this is probably the last one I'll be doing, so pick something good.
I think I picked something good.
Or
I don't know what it is,
either
but I
way.
think I picked it. I thought,
yes.
you know what? There was a few things I was looking at. I was thinking, okay, the first one I thought, everyone's watched that probably. I looked at Yuri on Ice. I thought everyone's probably watched that.
I have not. I'm been curious about it, but I haven't taken the plunge because it looks like it's not.
And then I saw something that would reference and piss off Klauss, so I nearly picked that, but I only had 4 episodes. It was called Lords of Vermilion.
That one pissed me off, but I know a bunch of other 14 players that might piss off.
Yeah, I found an anime called that. But I thought, you know what? Because we're normally a video game podcast, and I've actually looked at this anime a few times and not watched it, even though I've wanted to watch it because I'm weird like that. Gamers.
Yes! Oh,
Wondering
man.
Just got hard.
Oh, boy. Are you in for a ride? Oh, man.
Ernest just got hard.
I'm looking at this
boy.
now.
Hey, it's in my watch list already. Awesome.
See?
Oh, does that show? Woo.
Oh man,
No one edged off Ernest today.
Oh, I can't
He's
believe
done.
someone chose gamer.
So,
If I didn't choose gamers now, there's going to be a time where I chose gamers in the future.
I'm reading the description, and I'm watching the first episode alone. Gaming enthusiast Amanda Kieta is invited by the cutest girl at school, and Kara, to join the game club. Seems cool, but yeah, okay, this is going to be interesting. Yeah.
Oh man, it's going to be such a stark contrast from my love story. Oh man. Oh god.
I just read the first.
You know how
comment.
my love story is sweet and pretty simple and pure and no real bullshit. Oh god.
I will point you to the first comment on the first episode of the series on Crunchyroll. It says, I want to watch this anime, but I don't want to think about killing myself.
Oh, this could be controversial.
I'm so excited to watch this now.
Yes.
Oh my God.
thank you,
I will
Ron.
rewatch it for the sake of the podcast. I'm not.
Yes, for the
saying
sake of the
necessarily-
podcast.
Gamers,
There
would you
will
like to be
part
with
of
me in the
maybe a
Gamers Club?
masochist part of me that likes that will like
What's the thing
rewatching
you-
it.
What's that thing you always tell me? I'm trash people who do trash things.
I'm so
Anime is
happy that
trash,
Ernest
so am
had
I.
that
Anime
reaction
is
to the
trash.
On the plus
So am
side, I say on the plus side, I'm assuming this is going to be another a counterpoint to what we just watched. 12 episodes is probably going to seem like too much, isn't it?
We'll see. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, man.
So, this is gonna be your last one then, Neil?
This is what it's gonna be.
This is what's going to push him off
This
of
is the
anime forever.
culmination.
I mean, even if I wasn't leaving, I think there's probably.
No, see, I'm sad because I had a fantastic anime planned for you, specifically
Aw.
for you. But it's okay.
What a shame.
I
We'll all
mean,
watch
maybe
it
you could
without you.
maybe you could save it for when we have Neil on as like
Yeah.
a guest in the future.
Oh yeah, and I will. I will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
He's
so-
not dying.
He has
Yeah.
plenty of wine too.
But this might kill him.
No, I think he'll be
Spirits
okay.
are coming out next week. I'll tell you that.
Gamers.
Oh, even the name.
Ah, man.
Oh my god, I've watched like the first 3 minutes of this, and it looks yeah.
Yeah.
I think I picked a good one.
Yay.
Yes.
I
mean,
at least it's
Thank you for choosing this.
No problem.
It's got 5 stars.
I can't see stars on the PlayStation thing, so
Well, the first episode has 5 stars out of 2,100 votes or so.
it must be really good.
Granted, Crunchyroll ratings are pretty inflated.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed. I mean, the biggest quibbles most people have is the fact that the male lead sounds like a female, and that people are using controllers for a first-person shooter. I mean, yeah.
Oh, then it's going to be great. You know
Oh,
it's going to be
those
great if they're complaining about
bastards.
that.
Those bastards not
Oh,
using
my God.
mouse and keyboard.
I mean,
Scrubs.
whoever Coffee Yum, premium subscriber to Crunchyroll, who said this, saying that real gamers use mouse and keyboard with auto aim. There's the reason you're commenting on Crunchyroll right now.
All I know is it looks like in the first picture that they've got PS4 games in the background.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's PZ4 because of the
Yeah.
copyrights.
I love it. Oh, I love it already.
Well, Ernest likes it, so I'm game.
Yep.
Well, I'm always down for a new,
do I like
new
it?
challenge.
I like it. Strong words right there, Gary. I think.
His reaction was anything but like.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm so happy I gave that reaction, though. It made me so happy.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
That's what she said.
Beat ya.
4 people playing first-person shooter all without split screen, mate.
Are you going to spoil the plot if you keep reading the comments?
Yeah, it's got 4.5 stars on Funimation as well.
Oh my god! I think people like it. Ironically, it must be the case. It has to.
Yes, he laughs evilly. Yes.
I tell you what, Ben. Whatever. This is now suddenly compelling viewing, at the very least. Game is a good thing. Oh my god, Ernest! Why would you?
That's Chris's face when he watches furries. I know it.
What? Well, maybe.
This is going to be like that Akiba's beat fucking game, isn't it?
I was really close to going with what's good. What was the other one?
What were you going?
Ooh.
I want
Yuri
to
on
know.
Ice.
No,
Yeah,
Yuri on
yeah.
Ice, Lords of Vermilion, and then there's one about this cute cat that would go back in time.
Oh my god, pick the cat.
No, the
Too
cat.
Kitty.
The cat.
Kitties, man.
The cat had like 70 episodes. So no.
It's a kitty.
Yeah, it's
How
a
can you
cute
not
little
watch
cat
it?
that travels
Watch
back in
cat
time.
videos on YouTube for 90 episodes.
It's
Yeah,
a cute
look,
little cat that
Gary,
travels
I
back
think
into
the
Japanese
soul, it's
history.
fine.
What is this anime called with the cat?
I can't remember what it's called. Meow Meow Summit.
Oh my god.
Meow meow choco chow.
My controller's dying, so I can't really.
Let me have a look. If not, let's.
There was some
Magical
Crunchyroll.
Meow Meow Tataro?
Anything to get me off this. Meow Meow Japanese history.
That's it, yeah, Meow Meow Japanese history.
Yeah, 71 episodes. Yeah.
But they're only 90 minutes each, so.
Right.
Oh my god.
But I
Kitties.
went with this instead because I thought, you know what, 71's a bit too much.
I mean, this has got 5 stars, but only 4 people.
I may just because it has cats in it, I may just watch it and report back to you my finding.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Chris, maybe you be the one to sacrifice watching the other this instead.
Yeah. I'll let you know how it all turns out. I'll time travel myself so I can watch everything. I need
Wait, so
to.
why would Klauss be upset if you picked Lord of Vermilion? Vermilion?
Final Fantasy thing.
Oh.
Final Fantasy
Little
14,
RTS game in 14.
there's a mini game called Lords of Vermilion in it that nobody
Lords
plays.
of Vermilion.
Vermilion,
Well,
yeah.
it's an actual game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
an arcade game.
It
So
was just an inside joke.
it's an inside joke. It's fine. So next week we come back to discuss that, and and obviously the shows of the week. I mean, should we be adding Attack on Titan to this whole?
I was actually going to ask about that because it started. We're 3 episodes in, and we might want to add it to the lineup.
But can we? Because they have like the worst storytelling capabilities of any anime.
But it's still a huge anime. I think if we shorten the other
Yeah.
2, we can add this one since it is the start of the 3rd season, which everybody's fucking been waiting for.
Guess I should
I
start
haven't-
watch season 1 and season 2 then.
Yeah, I should finish season 2 because
I'll probably want to just refresh myself.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get caught up on it, and then I'll be ready if we're down to do it next week. So
I would like just to be for once to actually be involved on the weeklies, and this one is one I could actually do because I've
Okay.
actually watched 2 seasons. So yeah,
Mhm.
We'll make sure we do Attack on Titan next week so Neil can be on the weeklies on his last week.
yeah. Even if it's just me. Yeah, it's like, tune in next week to hear me not discuss this anime. It's great. Okay. So any shout outs from anyone, Ben?
I'd like to shout out to Flats at Maelstrom Radio. Go check them out, twitch.tv as Maelstrom. They also popped onto the PlayStation Unchained podcast, which you'll hear in the future, even though we've already recorded it in the past. So please look forward to that. Shout out to She Heals I Tank. A shout out to Evolved Mail, aka Girlfriend's favourite streamer at twitch.tv/Evolved Mail. A shout out to everyone that turned up to my 24-hour stream that I did on Wednesday last week, where I raised $174, I think.
Yes.
For Extra Life, Phoenix Down Radio's Extra Life. Twitch.tv/POC Live to support Twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio. A shout out to Klauss, because he is awesome, and Sarah and Luna for putting up with me every week, every show on Phoenix Down Radio. It's been 3 years now that we've been recorded. I know I've
Just
been for
about.
3 years, but I've been for about 2 years now. You still haven't kicked me and replaced me with a younger model. And a shout out to everyone here, especially Ernest, because that response made me smile.
Fantastic. So Ernest, as you're here and probably getting slightly more awake by the second.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Shout outs to not me for not waking up.
Shout out to that alarm clock, right?
I don't know if I didn't properly set it or I just
See, Ernest, you should do what I do.
put it on snooze.
I set when I go wake up early, I set 4 alarms.
I've done that in the past. I don't know why I thought, oh, just one will be fine. No.
I set one for like, if I get up at 6 a.m, I'll be set one for like 5 to 6, one for 6, one for 5 past 6, one for 10 past 6. I'm like, one of these will wake me up.
I know that game.
Yeah, I mean, my game is far worse, but agonized about having to wake up early and just staying awake the entire night and devastating yourself the next day. It works so much better in the short term, anyway. But to be fair, we were to assume that you weren't going to be on because of work, so it's fine. You're forgiven, Ernest. Don't worry. You did nothing wrong on that front. Klauss, speak them words in a dulcet tone.
Well, if you insist.
I do.
Or do like in the dominatrix style.
Take that how you may. Thank you again for having me on. As always, it's been a pleasure to discuss anime with all of you. Shout out to Chili for just being an awesome co-host here and on our normal podcast, Phoenix Down Radio, which we had a new episode last night. If you want to check that out and you're interested in Final Fantasy, you can find that at phoenixdownradio.com. Again, shout out to Ernest. Thanks for joining us, even though it was a little bit delayed. But
I got there.
What you bring to the show is amazing, and it's been a lot of fun to work with you these past few episodes. So thank you.
Thank you.
It does add so much because
I don't feel like that at all.
It's just natural.
That's the case.
Yeah,
okay.
I think this is it because I think for you into it, in a way that everyone else is very much following it from a distance. You're fucking living it,
You're right there. You're on the front lines, man. You're living the dream.
Even at 5 a.m. in the morning, half asleep, you're still operating more than most people would. It has to be said.
Okay. I'm glad, at least.
So, I want to throw a shout out to Tim for being an amazing guy. We'll have to meet up sometime, man. We're not that far apart.
What?
We'll have to go meet up.
No. Well, I've actually had the same thought, but I end up sounding like a creeper whenever I open my mouth, so I didn't say anything. But
that's usually me too, so I figured I would at least throw it out here, so make it maybe feel not so bad. But then you make me feel like a creeper.
Oh, it's so sudden. Oh shit.
Hey, I'm turned on by this. Either I want to hear where this goes. So
I'll bring a camera. We'll see.
Oh my god, yes.
And all of the rest of you as well, Garri, Chris, you guys are amazing. Neil, we're gonna miss you, man. Like I said, thank you for letting me join in on these shenanigans. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been good fun. It has to be said.
And if you want to follow me on the social medias, you can find me at PHXDN_KLAUSS. So thanks again, guys.
Follow you anywhere, Klauss.
Who else
noticed me?
So, Chris and Garri haven't had a go, have they?
Whatever Chris says, it mimics me because we're together.
Apparently.
Yep, we all ship it.
Dude, I ship the shit out of it.
Garri, go. You're not Garri. Shush. Garri.
Yes.
Go.
Shout out to you guys for having me on. Always enjoy new animes to watch. Family, friends. Fonzie, we miss you. I hope you're back next week. You can reach me at Gaglaush. That's GAGLAUSH on Twitters.
Chris?
Yes, friends, fans, family, listeners, all you guys, lovely people. I again, this is something that I absolutely look forward to every single week that we do this. To Fonzie, I miss you, man, and I'm not going to be able to finish until you get back. So just know, man, just know. Mm-hmm. Well, we got all excited and hyped up and edged earlier, and I was expecting to finish here, but I can't without Fonzie here. I just can't. So you got to come back soon, buddy. And what else? That's pretty much it.
Fair enough. Tim.
Sorry. No, I'm looking at that video that Ernest sent.
I know.
I'm sorry. Don't
Yeah.
click on it right now. I made the mistake, the best mistake of my life. Ugh.
Oh God.
No, that's what we get to meet.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Ernest,
I'm gonna
I'd like
watch
to shout you out, Ernest, for joining us. Any minute we can talk is a minute better in my life.
No,
Shut up, Ernest. Just take it.
I'm
Yes.
trash. It's not like I like you or anything.
What the fuck am I?
It's Cinderhaze.
I think we need Makoto in here.
What did you just put up with me in here?
Wait, did you say Makotes? Because I'll always have some Makotes.
I'm sorry. So, Ernest, what the fuck did you just post?
Yes, the greatest shit.
It uses footage from gamers.
Oh, okay. So that's not how it is presented in.
That's not the song, no.
No, once the song kicks in, that's like not from. No,
Oh
that's
my God!
Rick
because
Lamar.
The whole anime was just going to be a parody of music videos and dubs. And...
Oh, shit.
Jesus, for a second there, I was going to call them inspired because. Just...
Oh, if it was in that, it'd make the show so much better.
Hashtag.
Too right.
Make sure you tweet that out.
Tim, what is this conversation you posted with me in it?
The title's in the title.
What?
Oh. Never mind. It didn't save in the thing, I guess. That's cool.
No,
I love it.
It was when you bitched first about the Dragon Ball animation before I did. I took a screenshot and I told you I did.
Oh my god! I wasn't
an important-
I was saying it was different.
It's an important moment in my life.
Yeah, it's one of the few moments where you say, I hate Dragon Ball. Just as much
never
as you
said I
hate
hate
video
Dragon
games.
I've said I hate Dragon Ball a lot. GT, trash, garbage. Don't watch it.
Listeners, thanks for listening to our random shit all the time.
We're still recording?
Yeah. Thanks for listening to our random shit all the time.
Yeah, we are actually.
I haven't even given thanks and praise myself yet. Yeah, so you know.
It's been great. It's been great.
Gary's
As
the
usual.
winner.
It's almost as bad as, I can't remember which one of you said this, but animes are cartoons. And it hurt me. I was sat there thinking,
Reveal that.
oh god, goodbye everyone. This has been a fun anime podcast.
And to Klauss for saying all things that I've been too anxious to kisses.
Somebody has to make the first move.
That's perfect. You must be a top then.
That is perfect.
Oh god, but Gary's going to fight for dominance.
Klauss is a top. Neil's a top. Ben's a dominant bottom, just like Garri. He wants to be in charge, but he makes them do the work. That's what we like.
The only thing I'm going to go back on that is I feel like the switch hitter.
You think Neil plays both offense and defense?
Yeah. I feel like Neil's a lot more complicated than putting him out.
I'm in football in terms. I am the water carrier.
Water boy?
Fine, then I'm the cheerleader.
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
He is 100% sex appeal then. Okay.
There's something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Which segues rather nicely into Neil.
I segue right to Neil.
Right into Neil.
Always welcome.
It's been great. Your recommendations have been huge in my life locally and in the last few years even. Games, books, trash shows, good shows, all of it.
Yeah.
And I know those won't go anywhere, but I'm gonna miss the convenience for sure.
I'm not going to miss you. I'm going to miss convenience.
I'm gonna miss the convenience of putting it right in you.
This particular mom and pop store is moving away. You'll have to travel a little bit further to get to it.
Instead, it's going to be replaced by GameStop.
Ew. Don't do that. The legacy needs to be more important than that.
Yeah.
Fine.
Who's calling a GameStop? in that case.
Anywhere you go, Neil, I'll follow you down.
Anywhere
I'll follow
go,
you down, but not
there
that
you
far.
are.
Okay, Moana.
I would walk 1,000 miles.
And I would walk 500 more.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Guys, I'm not dead. So please.
Near,
Far, wherever you are.
Ben, anytime you want to cut it, now would be a good cut.
Well,
actually,
we gotta get Neil. We gotta get Neil to give his thanks and his tatty bye.
Yeah. So yeah, give thanks. If you want to hear a good version of Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," listen to Me First and the Gimme Gimme version of that, which is almost a mariachi band ska punk version of that song. Brilliant. You'll love it, and it make you like the song again, without any of the horrible Titanic flashbacks that it gives you.
Does it still have the penny whistle?
No, it's a mariachi band song.
But you got to have the penny whistle.
No, not with a mariachi band. Come on.
I don't
That
know
would be
why,
amazing. A mariachi band with a penny whistle. Come on.
I don't know why, but every time you say penny whistle, I hear Pennywise, and I think of the clown.
I imagine
Oh, no.
something completely different.
A mariachi playing clown. That's even better. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Balloons.
So yeah, next week though I won't be hosting Unchained, I'll be hosting this podcast because it's easy, and I just say a few words. Oh yes, this is it. I say a few words. Everyone else pleases me with theirs.
And by it pleases you, you mean makes you drink more wine.
So maybe he is a bottom.
Yeah, I can be both. I am Jenga.
I always feel like I've received very well with how giving Neil is. So I mean,
He's just the Dom sitting in the corner sipping his wine.
Mm.
All I know is
I've
I
always
wish I
imagined
could-
him as a Dr. Frankenfurter.
oh, yeah.
For a second,
How I imagine Neil looks in real life. Just...
for a second there, I thought you said I was Saddam. Yeah.
Damn.
Why, is that closer or what?
Come
Well,
on,
yeah.
big guy.
Probably about as much torture, but that's.
Ooh, back to the Dom thing.
Come on, guy. Your ass is big and red. Who am I going to think about?
Guys, Lenny?
My cream puff.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
I can
Yeah,
change,
well-
I can change.
We'll be back next week to talk Boruto, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, perhaps, and this week's anime of the week.
Gamers.
Which
And
we will
hopefully
need
the
to set-
listeners will be back too. After all this.
That would be appreciative. Yes.
Yeah,
Please,
that's always
please
fun.
be excited.
Please be excited.
Yes, please do join me one last time to listen to whatever the hell this is next week that we put out. It sounds like it's going to be one heck of a finale on my part at the very least. So please do enjoy. But until then, I know we learned the Japanese for it ages ago, but guess what? I didn't learn it. So until then, tatty bye.